Hey Hada, what's happening in Melee? What is going on? There's something right next to me. That's right, we are live on Twitch and we already have a first time chatter. It happens to be the person who's helping me co-host this whole thing. It is Hey Hada. Thank you so much for dropping the follow, Hada. I very much appreciate it. We're very young into this whole streaming, live and recording and podcasting thing, but we are going for it. So I appreciate you being willing to go live, literally in the sense of being on Twitch and also doing the recording. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm finally in a stable job. It's not a contract anymore. Doing some administrative duties for a PT clinic here in Colorado. It's really fun, amazing coworkers and such. Finished my first week, and this is the start of my second week. So definitely back on that, 8 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever grind. Have a sense of normalcy. Starting a new volleyball league soon, so really hitting it hard. Going to the gym a lot and having a great work-life balance right now. And more than anything, it's so exciting because we've had a lot of amazing Melee in the last week or so.
Yes, we have had Battle of BoBC4, which has changed into events from this past weekend. So we were definitely busy last week. We're sorry to bring this to you a little bit late, but with so much Melee to get into, we should probably start with Battle of BoBC4. We don't want to get too terribly far away removed from that, other than thinking about how it's been over a week since Leffen has once again proven that Canada is his second home and taking the event over Zane and everybody else by going straight to winners, staying there. Leffen had an incredible performance, showing great Fox play and Sheik play against Zane specifically, all on a controller that he got a few days before the tournament started, something like that. I just once again in awe of the skills of Gamer Left when he shows up and everything's sort of taken care of. I guess I don't know, the controller thing astounds me. So shout out to Leffen for winning on a new controller, barely broke it in and winning the whole dang thing. So congrats to Leffen for that. Hada, what were some of your observations from the event?
I mean, it was an astounding event to watch. Something that I was really excited for was not only to see the ultra top level play, but a really close friend of mine, Zealot, in Colorado's current #1 player, actually ended up going out to Battle of BC for his first international tournament and took AMSA to last stock all 3 games. He did get 3-0, so it was a very close 3-0, but he did take AMSA to last stock every single time on stream. So great set, Zealot versus AMSA. And actually had 2 sets of the 2 sets Zealot had on stream. They were both against Yoshi players, actually. Actually ran into Egg Money earlier in the bracket and pools and took that pretty handily. So definitely there's just a bias for sending the dinosaurs to fight Zealot, but super exciting to see. But more than anything, that top level was absolutely outrageous. Of course, like just as I'm saying, AMSA was playing so well. And Leffen, of course, the proverbial king of Canada, just proved it once again. And with incredible performance such as 8 stalking Josh Man on FD, double 4 stock, and then continuing to make a run all the way through winners, crushing Zane with the Sheik, just looking absolutely dominant. And something that was interesting is I was watching the latter part of top 8 while I was playing TFT with Fizzwiggle, Colorado's #1 Sheik player. And I think Toph said something on commentary. He says, that your secondary Sheik is good if the Sheik mains around the world study your Sheik and complement your Sheik. And I'm like, hey Evan, what do you think about Leffen Sheik? He's like, dude, Leffen Sheik is so good. He's so smart. He's just really consistent with his aerial placing, with his game plan, especially with his edge guarding. So he's like, yeah, I've learned a lot watching Leffen Sheik. And I'm like, wow, the best Sheik in Colorado, as well as someone who has beaten Mango with Sheik, is taking notes from Leffen's secondary Sheik. So that's a huge compliment for sure.
So with all of that out of the way, you have future events such as CEO22 coming up this weekend, and then Double Down is in the near future as well. We don't know exactly what event Leffen is going to be doing unless you heard something I didn't. It's just that we're all excited to see, can he keep this up? How will Zane respond? It's a great compliment to all the other storylines near the top. So for Battle BC4, you have players like AMSA finishing 4th, Hungrybox still managing the top 3 this event, losing in winners finals to Zane, who then finished 2nd as well. You have also players like newly signed FlyQuest Jmook and the veteran of FlyQuest Kadoran finishing in top 8 as well, and then of course Canada's own Sunsei and Moki. These are great players to be all jostling for position, and we haven't even mentioned Mango yet, who sadly missed Battle BC4 because of trying to fly out at the literal last minute, and then a plane delay, flight delay. It is so unfortunate that happened, but you have so many different storylines heading into ranking season, which is something that we will get to because that's been a topic of discussion as well. But I'm just so excited to see, how does Zane respond to Leffen? How does Zane respond to, and this was pointed out on the Melee Stats Waiting for Game podcast, how does Zane respond to 3 good Sheiks? You have Jmook, you have Leffen Sheik, and you also have Plup, who will do the Sheik against Zane. So these are great storylines that we have going into the summer here, going into these next couple of big majors. I'm really excited to see how Zane responds to having a more diverse competition and different characters to plan for, as well as can he try to take this summer and make it his own in order to be a true #1 ranked player.
It's definitely an interesting hill to climb. And if you remember back to Zane's, initial climb into the limelight, he really had that Pikachu problem. He was always falling to Axe and winner's side, or getting his brackets stopped by Axe and losers. And that was his, for sure, his bracket demon. And the way he combated that was by making really close friends with Swift and bodying him on stream over and over and over and over again. So do I expect Zane to take all these, the rise of Sheik lying down? Absolutely not. I expect many different Sheiks to pop up. J Salt, J Cam, J Flex, Jada, J Refin, all the J Sheiks gonna be running out and gonna be getting friendly sessions with big man Zane.
Crudo, let's not forget Crudo. Sorry, we're gonna forget a couple Sheiks, but we can't forget Crudo. That would be so mean.
Of course, Crudo. I'm sure Jmook will get in there. If Leffen could get some games, and I know he plays 3-frame with Zane from time to time, from Sweden to the East Coast. So I know that's definitely a thing. And Plup going west to east. I'm sure it's not impossible. But when it all boils down to it, I'm sure Zane is in the DMs of many top level Sheik mains, and that's definitely not going to take this matchup lying down.
And so with that, we have a little bit of discourse, I should say a lot. We have a fair amount of discourse going into ranking season. This is always fun. I have honestly, in these 2 years, Hada, it's been weird to not have rankings, but I've gotten used to it. I'll be honest. I turned around, I see PTAS's Practical Tas's tweet about different changes to the promptings of who's going to be ranking the latest MTGR, the summer ranking as it is, changing the promptings and trying to make it make more sense and try to have it be clear for the people who are voting for top 100 or top 50, however many they're doing, as well as making it consistent in the eyes of the top players. But of course, there's always going to be certain points of contentiousness around how rankings are supposed to work, different ideals, different styles or philosophies. And I guess that's why it's a good thing there's more than just 1 or 2 people behind the scenes doing this. There's like a wide variety of people who are voting into this and trying to make it as legit as possible. But for Zane, what he needs in order to be #1 is to try to take more events. And it's only honestly been Genesis 8 and Pound. Didn't win the latest Summit 13. That was IBDW, and then Battle BC4 was left. And so it's something for Zane to be wary of. Although I would say going into this ranking season, there's no reason why Zane wouldn't be #1, having won the most events, the most big events up to now. Would you agree with that?
I definitely would. And it really, when it boils down to finalizing those, top 5, top 10 level players, it really boils down to not only the placements, but the head to head and finding out how those really match up. And when you really think about it, Zane doesn't fall to anyone outside the top 5, really. I think he's like his lowest seeded loss may have been to Laud at Summit. And so Laud, a proverbial top 10 player, maybe fringe top 10, depending on how the rankings shake up. And if that's his worst loss, not to throw shade at Mango, Mango falling to the likes of Fizzwiggle, Mango dropping sets to a couple of other lower ranked players. That's something a little more concerning. HBox dropping a bunch of online sets and some IRL sets to lower ranked players. Definitely a little bit more concerning as well. And it really is going to be interesting is how much are we going to value those online results, or will they matter at all? And I'm going to have to really do a lot more deep reading, a little bit more research into that PTAS thread in order to determine, what's the best method and what I personally believe to be the best way to rank it. And if I was going to give a super rough ranking for maybe our top 5, it's probably going to be something along the lines of Zane, IBDW, maybe Leffen, and then some order, Hungry Box, Mango. uh that's probably our top 5 right there. HBox, Mango, Cody, Leffen, Zane. It's probably in some order, but I think Zane probably getting slotted first is almost certainly the case. But what's really exciting is seeing that new blood get ushered into that top 30, top 40, top 50. Players like JFlex, players like BBats, not because I'm a little biased or anything, but JFlex and BBats are playing very, very well in very recent tournaments, such as the we had Creed, BBats winning Creed over the likes of Toussaint, double eliminating Toussaint, beating JFlex and a couple of other very highly ranked players. BBats taking events such as Gailey Summit 3 just this past weekend. JFlex getting second to Ben at a pretty stacked tournament just very recently as well. I think hold that L7
and winning the nightclub last week.
Exactly, and winning the nightclub last week, and with a lot of momentum coming into the nightclub this upcoming week. So have to see where players of that caliber are going to get slotted in. Players like Slug, players like Zealot, are going to have a lot of stuff to prove coming into this new ranking season. So people who are going to make their debuts, and I think with the benefit of having such a deep break from ranking seasons, of going 2 years without being ranked, there's going to be a incredible amount of top 100 debuts that are going to be in that top 30, maybe even top 20 range. So that's so exciting, and that's definitely where I'm going to have my eyes the most closely packed in this upcoming ranking season.
Shout outs to Kuyachi in chat for saying hello. Hello, Kuyachi. So I wanted to say that there's going to be so many players that are coming onto the list for the first time, right? The top 100 for the first time. You were just saying that, Hada. Who is going to be the highest ranked newcomer to the top 100? I feel like the answer is pretty obvious. It'd be Jmook. Would you agree with that?
Oh, almost certainly Jmook. I think Jmook probably a top 10 caliber player. Almost certainly. Jmook will probably be the highest debut ever on a top 100. I think other cool additions could be Slug. I think Slug could place as high as maybe top 20. Lod's been already ranked. JFlex has never been ranked, so definitely could be placing pretty highly. And of course, BBats. Zealot could also be sneaking up in there at some potential. But yeah, Jmook certainly, debuting at a top 10 placement, and I'd be shocked if he wasn't top 10, is going to be a very, very exciting to see. Salt also might also be ranked very, very highly. Salt could be as high as maybe top 15, maybe fringe top 20. So Salt is going to be, after the obvious pick of Jmook, might be the highest debut of this new class of melee players coming into this next ranking season.
I can't remember if Kadoran was ever ranked in the top 100, but that'd be another candidate for highest new placing. Although I would have to say Kadoran was playing pretty well prior to, like, during and through the 2019 MPGR, so I wouldn't know for sure. But to Kiachi's point, we have a few more weeks of results to put in before top 100 starts to become a real topic of conversation, and that could be something that you and I can work on, Hada, do our own little top 10. I do not have the capacity to make a top 100, but maybe we could do like a little prediction of top 10, or we can promise, honor system, Scouts honor, write down our top 10, have it locked in place before the results come in. And when they come in, we can compare. We could do something like that if you want to just put that in the back of your mind for now.
Ooh, could be super fun. But I did want to let the people know, did a quick Google search. Kadoran debuted at 70th on the MPGR 2019. So Kadoran out of the conversation. But Kadoran also, a top 10 quality level player. So it's gonna be interesting to see, where he falls going into this next ranking season as well, because I think he's probably in the top 15 to maybe fringe top 10 conversation, depending on how those results and heads to head shakes out for this last year. So super, super exciting. I mean, I think it's the easiest thing to rile up a Melee crowd about is, talk about rankings. So it should be a really, really fun era, especially since it's been so long since we've had discussions like this.
Yes, because there was never official rankings prior to 2013. Kyoachi, you are absolutely correct. Debuting at first is a pretty good ranking from going from not ranked to actual ranked. So we have CEO 2022 this weekend, and then shortly after that should be Double Down. So in my mind, without knowing who all is going to each event, I think that we might see one more person who hasn't won a major yet take one of those two events, and I say it's going to be Hungrybox, just because CEO 2022 is in Hungrybox's backyard. I would be so shocked if he didn't show up to that event, especially since this is something that has not been a thing for a few years, of course, mainly because of the pandemic. But CEO had Melee as a main bracket or official streamed bracket for a while, and then it seemed to take a break. I wouldn't be super familiar with all the details, but the fact that they have it as, it's not a side bracket this year, it's actually being on the mainstream, on the main stage. I'm super excited to see who goes down for that. And if Hungrybox doesn't have a whole lot of Zanes in bracket, I could just see Hungrybox taking that event and hopefully solidifying in his mind a top 5 or a top 3 placing. But then there's Double Down as well, which I'm sure we'll see a lot of competition. So do you think that there's a possibility of a non-IBDW, Leffen, and Zane, because those are the 3 that have won majors this year so far? I might be missing somebody, but aside from those 3, Hada, do you see a new player taking either Double Down or CEO 2022?
That's a great question. I think based on, I think the fire that kind of got lit under Mango's butt very recently, especially with the inability to travel to Battle of BC, I think his next event is guaranteed to be Double Down. And of course, Mango in Vegas is definitely a hot combination. It could be either very dangerous for his placing, or it could really push him to the edge. Keep him in his element and let him go and run towards a first place finish. Do I think he's a favorite? Probably not. Do I have a lot of faith in the kid? Absolutely. You can never count out the kid. For CEO, I think it really depends on, I think, HBox is a very solid pick. It's in his backyard, like you were saying, but with players in that region specifically, there are a lot of, hidden underground hitters, and a player that you brought up also this podcast, Crudo, has had taken a couple sets off of HBox themselves, and of course being the #1 Sheik in Florida after the exodus of Plup. I could see maybe a hot Fire Flames 10 out of 10 Crudo taking a set off HBox and maybe taking the tournament, or maybe a Bobby Big Balls, some character of that caliber, showing up out of the woodwork and taking a run. Bobby Big Balls winning, I think it was DreamHack Dallas or whatever the most recent Texas semi-major tournament over Magi was took place very, very recently. So Bobby Big Balls with a pretty solid win under his belt as well. So can't sleep on Big Bob. And Bobby has the peaks and the valleys in order to make incredibly deep runs, but also, Buster out at, 65th, who knows? So it's, I think if you're looking for the money for the safer bets, I think Mango and HBox might be our next 2 champions for these next couple of events. But, if Zane's traveling to either of these, and it really depends on who shows up on the day and who are the top contenders. Is J-Mook going to be hitting up all of these? Is Zane going to be trying to make an appearance this upcoming weekend? And of course, at Double Down, I believe Zane is going to Double Down. Let me go ahead and check on the.
You know what's maddening about Star GG? Shout outs to Star GG. But seriously, I can see the top 3 players listed for Melee singles for CEO 2022, which is this upcoming weekend. And yet, when I click on players, none of them show up. I was just like, why? I know it's not seeded yet. I know, but just give me the list of all the players who have registered. We have over 220 entrants for the Melee bracket, and the top 3 players listed are Leffen, Hungrybox, and Plup. So Plup is another obvious candidate of a player who could easily take this event, having a hot bracket and being able to split time between Fox and Sheik, especially if Plup has to run into Hungrybox, which Hungrybox has this very interesting habit of making top 8 winners side in a lot of these events that we've seen recently. So I could see that scenario where Plup has to manage in top 8 playing as Sheik and Fox, which it depends on where his mental is, I feel like, in terms of how easily he's able to switch back and forth and how hot he can play with both characters, and feeling confident about which character he's picking for the matchups that he has to play on the day. But Plup is, aside from that, those kind of questions, I mean, we're talking about a player who could still win this event even if Plup isn't playing at 100%. Plup messing around can beat almost anybody, so that would be another candidate. So just seeing these 3 players, it's going to be a fun event at CEO 2022. So I'm looking forward to that.
For sure. And looking at our top seeds for melee singles at Double Down, we have Mango Wizrobe, who we haven't seen in a hot minute.
Oh my gosh, Wizrobe, yes.
It's gonna be really exciting to finally see the Wizrod come back out. We have Zane, we have S2J, SFAT, Amsa. I think Amsa might be my dark horse for winning the event. I think Amsa's due. Amsa's due for a win. Ginger, Moki, KJH, Professor Pro. Let's go, Prof Pro. Fiction, Magi, Luigi Callmaster, Nick M. Whittier, Aura, Nut. I see some other big ones. And of course, FlyQuest, Kadoran, Smash Daddy, J-Flex. Some really, really solid and really big names. And I think your top 16 at Double Down is going to be an absolute bloodbath. A lot of very high volatile players. I think the only one who is super, super solid and the only players who I don't see getting upset all that often is honestly players like Amso, Wizrobe, and Zane. Those are the only ones who I feel are almost upset immune just based on their absolutely solid fundamentals and game plan. It's very difficult for to see a player like especially those players get upset. I think the most recent I can think of in memory was at least of those 3 was Ryobeat taking a set off of Wizrobe at Genesis 6 or 7. And that was the last time I've seen any of those top 3 players get majorly upset. So expect those 3 in your top 4, and we'll have to see if top tier Mango comes out to play, or is he going to drop a set to a Magi? Is he going to drop a set to a Moki or maybe a KJH? We'll have to see. But more than anything, it's going to be a big gambling weekend, and I'm really excited for it. And hopefully, I can make it out. We'll see.
Yes, you are currently not 100% confirmed for Double Down because new job, and if we could hear back in terms of the commentary applications, it'd be super great. Shout outs to Double Down for just getting back soon now, please. It sounds like they already have it locked up and decided. As someone who is looking at this as realistically as possible, but still, get my man's on the mic. I will always root for you to get on the mic, Hada.
I appreciate that. And from what I could understand, I think Trey, the trash man, he DM'd me a little bit earlier and said, I think they're decided and they're planning on announcing it within the next couple of days. So I'm waiting at bated breath to see if I get announced for it. I really hope I do, because I would love to have an excuse to go out to Vegas. And I have a really good support system at work. So I think that if I had to be like, hey, I have this really cool opportunity, I just need the Friday, let me get out of here. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. But, we will see. We will see. I'm really excited. I'm really hoping, and would love to get out to another major. It's been way, way too long.
Yes, I'm hoping that you can get out to something. If it's not Double Down, it's going to be something this year. You already know. We can't keep you on the sidelines forever, Hada, and hopefully it'll be for an all chat reunion. Just one short at Pound. You were the only one who was not there, so hopefully we'll get an all chat major in at some point soon here this year. So then, now that we've gone through all of that, we are just about up to it in terms of time. So you want to go ahead and bring one more topic in that you wanted to touch on real quickly, or did you want to go ahead and outro us out, get towards closing and plugging and such?
I mean, one huge thing is, guys, if this is live on Twitch right now, I would love to keep doing this live. And I would love to add a question and answer or a topic and discussion point at the end of these episodes. So if you guys are really interested in being more interactive with our weekly show, please go ahead and drop Cypher0033 on Twitch a follow, and that will get you straight into the discussion here. And we will be sure to tweet out and let you guys know when we're going live. And it's such an exciting time. And of course, I know Jesse's going to try to get some other games in, get some more stream content in. So I'm really excited to be in chat for some of those, as well as support the content coming out from Jesse, because definitely a next level super sick content creator, and I love to support my homies.
Well, Hada, that's very, very kind of you. If you want to get some, what was it, vodka gummy worms shots in for Hada, keep this man tipsy. Hada, one of the, like, a top 50 streamer on any platform, period. If you want to keep that rolling, at Hey Hada, twitch.tv/Hey Hada, you can find Hada anywhere on the Hey Hada. You just look that up. You look it up on the links that we provide in the description of this podcast below in the video or on the podcast platform you're on. You will see it. And for myself, the whole Twitch thing, I want to, when play video games, I want to try to stream it. That's sort of the goal, because if I'm going to play video games, I might as well stream at the same time. I just never had a computer that could do it before, so now I do. So we're going to probably try to do a little bit of an HD texture pack of Majora's Mask for a little bit, so you can... Oh, and Kuyachi, thank you for the follow. We are now up to 5 followers on this Twitch channel. Very young, very new. I don't have Nightbot yet. We will get there. But you can also find this podcast on all the streaming platforms for podcasts on YouTube. And if you just go on Linktree/Cypher003, you'll find all the socials on there. I did that because I'm realizing quickly I have too many links, more than 4. So I figured better just do a Linktree. You can find me on all those kind of places, and you can start to anticipate these being live on a regular basis. I do genuinely. Hada, it's really cool that we can record live tonight. Hopefully we can make a habit out of doing that in the future, and recording BSM Pod live in general. So thank you to all those who joined us tonight live, to all those who are tuning in to the official episode release. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will see you all next week.
Bye, guys. Take it easy.